Jordan Spieth has never been known as the loudest voice in golf. He's not the player who starts public feuds. He rarely creates headlines off the course. But over the past few weeks, something has changed. The three-time major champion has become one of the most outspoken critics of where the PGA Tour is heading, under its new CEO, Brian Rolapp. And what he's saying is striking a nerve throughout professional golf. Because this isn't just about one player disagreeing with one executive, it's about the future of the PGA Tour, the balance between business and tradition, and whether the players still have a meaningful voice in the sport they've built. So why has Jordan Spieth suddenly become one of Brian Rolapp's biggest critics? And could this be the beginning of a much larger battle inside the PGA Tour? Let's take a closer look. When Brian Rolapp was hired as the PGA Tour's new CEO, expectations were enormous. After spending years helping transform the NFL into one of the most successful sports businesses in the world, Rolapp arrived with a reputation as an executive who understands television, media rights, and maximizing revenue. The PGA Tour didn't bring him in to maintain the status quo. They hired him to modernize professional golf. With LIV Golf continuing to challenge the tour financially, many believed bold changes were inevitable. Rolapp inherited a sport facing enormous pressure. Players wanted larger purses. Sponsors expected stronger television ratings. Fans demanded more exciting events. Finding a solution wouldn't be easy. But almost immediately, reports began emerging about significant structural changes being discussed behind closed doors. Among the biggest ideas, a more streamlined tour, smaller tournament fields, a greater focus on elite events, and potentially a two-tier competitive structure. Supporters called it modernization. Critics called it dangerous. One of those critics? Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth isn't just another PGA Tour member. For years, he's served in leadership roles. He's been involved in player meetings. He's helped represent golfers during some of the tour's biggest decisions. That means when Spieth speaks publicly, people listen. Recently, Spieth has expressed concern that some of the proposed changes could hurt the overall health of professional golf. His biggest concern isn't about himself. It's about everyone below the very top. If the tour becomes too focused on a handful of elite events, where does that leave younger players trying to build careers? Where do long-standing tournaments fit into the picture? And does professional golf risk becoming too exclusive? Those questions have become central to the ongoing debate. For decades, one of the strengths of the PGA Tour has been opportunity. Every season, lesser-known players could earn their way into bigger tournaments. Unknown names became stars. Future major champions often started at smaller events. That's part of what made the tour compelling. But critics worry that if elite tournaments become increasingly closed off, those opportunities could shrink. Spieth has suggested the tour must be careful not to lose what made it successful in the first place. Because if opportunities disappear, so could the next generation of stars. Here's where things become complicated. Brian Rolapp isn't necessarily trying to destroy tradition. His job is to ensure the PGA Tour remains financially competitive. The sports world has changed dramatically. Streaming, global media rights, massive sponsorship deals, competition from rival leagues. Every major sport is evolving. Golf cannot simply ignore those realities. But players like Spieth argue that business decisions should never come at the expense of the game's identity. There's a fine line between innovation and changing too much. That's the debate now unfolding. Another concern involves some of the tour's historic tournaments. Events with decades of history have helped shape professional golf. They're where legends were made. Fans built lifelong memories. Communities embraced the sport. If those tournaments lose importance because of a greater emphasis on signature events, many believe golf loses part of its soul. Spieth has repeatedly emphasized that history matters. Not everything should be judged solely by television ratings or sponsorship dollars. Sometimes tradition itself has value. One reason this discussion has gained so much attention is because Spieth isn't the only player asking questions. While opinions differ, several players have acknowledged that the tour is entering one of the most important periods in its history. Everyone understands change is necessary. The real disagreement is about how much change is too much. Should the tour become more exclusive? Should star players receive greater protection? Should elite events dominate the calendar? Or should competitive opportunity remain the foundation of professional golf? Those questions remain unanswered. Right now, calling it a player revolt would probably be premature. There hasn't been any organized rebellion. No official movement against Brian Rolapp. But there is growing discussion. Players are paying attention. Fans are debating every proposal. And every public comment from respected veterans like Jordan Spieth carries enormous weight. If more stars begin expressing similar concerns, the pressure on PGA Tour leadership could increase significantly. This isn't just about Jordan Spieth or Brian Rolapp. It's about what kind of PGA Tour exists 5 years from now. Will professional golf become more like other major sports, focused almost entirely on elite competition? Or will it preserve the open pathways that have produced generations of champions? Finding the right balance may be the biggest challenge the Tour has faced in decades, because without financial growth, the Tour risks falling behind. But without tradition, it risks losing what made fans fall in love with golf in the first place. Jordan Spieth has made one thing very clear. He isn't opposed to change. He's opposed to change that he believes weakens the foundations of professional golf. Brian Rolapp believes bold decisions are necessary to keep the PGA Tour competitive. Some fans agree. Others believe the Tour is moving too far, too fast. One thing is certain. This debate is only beginning. The next few months could shape the future of professional golf for years to come. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Jordan Spieth is right to challenge the PGA Tour's direction? Or do you believe Brian Rolapp's vision is exactly what professional golf needs? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because we'll continue following every major development in this story.